Hi friends, happy Monday. Welcome back to Math Today. Today for math, you will need pages 225, 226, 227, and 228 in your Envisions math book. You will also need a pencil. So go ahead and pause the video and grab the materials that you need. All right, friends, welcome back. Today for math, we're going to hit our learning target that says I can count groups of numbers to 10. So before we get started, we're going to do some review practice. We know that when we count in order or in sequence. We've been practicing that big word sequencing. Sequencing is putting things in order, right? So we know our number line shows us our numbers in order as we count. If our numbers were not in this order, then our brains would be confused and it sounds really silly to count 1, 25, 27, 34, 46. We're going to be like, what? We know as we're counting on the number line, our number gets bigger by 1. They're groups of numbers that every time when you say the next number, it gets bigger, right? That's how we know we can compare our numbers. So let's count our numbers starting with 0. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're able to compare those numbers because 1, we've practiced all 10 of these numbers now, right? And we know how many of something make up a group in a number. So for example, if I had the number 2, I have 2 dots or 2 cookies, okay? But then my next number is 3. When I count the next number 3, that's made up of a group of 3. It's not just a number, but it's a group, right? So when I go from 2 to 3, I add how many dots? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I add 1 more, right? So I know that 3 is greater than 2 because it has 1 more than 2 in its group. It doesn't have a dancing partner, that one extra guy, okay? So let's go over our numbers together. I'm going to show you the number card, and I want you to just tell me what it is. Ready? 10, 4, 8, 7, 5, 1, 9, 6, 2, 3. Good job. All right, now we're going to take a look at our activity sheet for today. Knowing our number order and knowing our numbers is going to help us complete our activity sheet today. So let's take a look at our solvent here on page 225. Our directions say that Emily thinks of 2 numbers. One that is 1 less than this number here, and another that is 1 more than this number here. What numbers is Emily thinking of? So what we need to do is figure out, first of all, what is this number? That's 8. Let's trace the 8 to help our brains remember it. So we're going to say first an S, but do not wait. Go back up and close the gate. That's the way to make an 8. Now when we're counting in order, what is the number that is 1 less than 8? What number do we say right before we say 8 when we're counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7. So we're going to write a 7 across the sky and down from heaven. That's the way to make a 7. And I can check myself by looking at the number line and I see, yep, 7 comes before 8. So now when I'm counting, I see that 7 and 8 are in order. Now this will help me know what number comes after 8. What's the number that comes after 8? 9. First a circle, then a line. That's the way to make a 9. Very good. Could I have written a 10 here? No, it comes after 8, but it's not the number that's 1 more than 8, right? We know when we move 1 spot on the number line that the next number is 9 after 8. Good job. Go ahead and flip your paper to the back to your guided practice. On your guided practice, it shows what we're going to be doing. So across the top, there's an example of our number line. Down here, it shows us different parts of a die. So what you're going to do, you're going to subitize. That means you're going to look at each of the die, and your eyeballs should, as soon as your eyeballs see it, your brain should know what that number is, how many dots there are. What you're going to do, you're going to subbutize and then write the number to match. So I see 1 dot, and I'm going to write a 1. I see 2 dots, I'm going to write a 2. How many dots do you subbutize here? 3. So I'm going to write a 3 around the tree, around the tree. How many dots can you subbutize here? 4. Down and over and down once more. That's the way to make a 4. And then how many can you subbutize here? 5. And look at that. If we go back and count our numbers, we can see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order. So we're going to take a look at page 228. So I want you to skip past page 227 and say, I'll be back. Okay? And then we're going to flip to 228. We're going to work on problems 5 through 8 together. So starting at the top, what we're going to do, just like we did before, we're going to subbutize and write our matching number. In our first box, how many dots do you see? 0. So we're going to write a 0 to match. Down to the left to find my hero. Back to the top, I've made my 0. How many do you subbutize here? 1. They have our number for us. Let's trace it. Start at the top and down you run. That's the way to make a 1. Now what's the number greater than 1? 2. We subbutize those dots and we see it's a 2. First a candy cane, then a shoe. That's the way to make a 2. Now I know I did this correctly because we're doing 2 things. We're practicing putting our numbers in order and counting those, but we're also practicing subbutizing and matching, writing our matching numbers. So I have 0, 1, 2. Let's go down to the next one. What number do they give us here already? 9. Let's trace our 9. First a circle, then a line. That's the way to make a 9. Now, if my eyeballs are having a hard time subbutizing that, I can always check myself by counting and marking out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But I should be able to subbutize. I should also be able to use my number order to help me figure out the numbers that I'm going to fill in. So what is the number that comes before 9 when we're counting in order? What's the number 1 less than 9? 8. We also can subbutize that. We see that there are 8 dots right here. So let's write our 8 on the first line. First an S, but do not wait. Go back up and close the gate. That's the way to make an 8. Now, if I'm putting my numbers in order, what is the number that is 1 more than 9? When I'm counting, I say 8, 9, 10. So we can subbutize that with our eyeballs and also see that we have a 10 that goes on the last line to show our number order. So now we have 8, 9, 10. That's the correct order. The directions for our next problem say that there are some numbers here and we need to write them in the correct order. Let's first name each number. I want you to touch them and name them with me. Ready? 10, 8, 7, 9. When we're looking at our number line, which one of these numbers do we say first out of our mouth? Which one do we count first? Do we count 10, 8, 7, or 9 first? I see on my number line that 7 comes first. So I want you to mark out the 7 so you know you've already written it and write it on the first line, 7. We're going to write that 7 on the first line to get us started. Now, I'm writing my numbers in order. When I write and count my numbers in order, what number comes after 7? 7, 8. So I'm going to mark out the 8, and I'm going to write an 8 on the next line. First an S, but do not wait. Go back up and close the gate. That's the way to make an 8. Good. Then what number comes after 8? Is it 9 or 10? 9 is 1 more than 8. So let's write our 9. First a circle, then a line. That's the way to make a 9. And then lastly, I have 10. So I'm going to write a 1 and a 0 on the line. All right, now at the very bottom, it tells us we're going to put our numbers in order. I'm going to start with the smallest number. So I have a 9, a 6, and a 7. Which one do I start with? Which one do I count first when I'm counting? 6. So I'm going to mark out my 6 and write it on the first line. Down to a loop, a 6 makes a hoop. Then after 6 comes what number? 7. Let's mark out our 7 and write it. Oh, but the next number they have here is a 9. When we count, do we say 6, 7, 9, 10? No, we say 6, 7, 8. So let's write our 8. First an S, but do not wait. Go back up and close the gate. That's the way to make an 8. And then what number? 9. First a circle, then a line. That's the way to make a 9. Good job. So when you complete your activity today for math, you will need to look at each of your number tiles and put them in order. So the first one is just like what we practiced at the top on the back. You're going to stubatize and write your number, and we're going to write them in order. So what's the number that's 1 less than 7? Write that here. What's the number that's 1 greater than 7? Write that here. Then in this row, you're going to look at your numbers. We have 6, 9, 8, and 7. You're going to write the number that starts is the smallest. Which one should we write first? Which one of these numbers do we say first when we count? Do we count and say 6, 9, 7, or 8 first? On our number line, the 6 comes first. So go ahead and write your 6. I'll help you get started. We'll mark that out so we know that we don't write it again. And then you're going to fill in the rest. What number comes next, then next, then next when you count. Okay? Down here we have numbers 3, 6, 5, and 4. When you're counting, which one of these numbers do you say first? We see 3 is first on our number line. So we're going to mark it out and write a 3. Okay? And then you're going to write the number that comes next, then next, then next. Okay? This is the page that you're going to post to your teacher's Google Classroom. Great job today, friends, working with your numbers to 10. I will see you for your next math activity tomorrow.